Today I'm going to show you how to install Flowmaster's Force 2 exhaust on this 2014 Chevy Silverado 1500 with the 4.3 liter V6 engine. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, we have our truck up on the lift now. Now you don't need a lift to do this installation, we just have it up here so that you can see everything that we're doing more easily. But the first thing that we need to do is find our catalytic converter, and right behind that we're going to have a ball connector. And we're going to have a clamp right here that needs to be removed. So before we do that, we're going to use some penetrating oil, and we're just going to spray this whole thing down and just kind of let it sit for a few minutes to actually work, and hopefully that'll help us get this off easier. Now when you're doing this, you also want to make sure that you give your truck enough time to cool down. You want this exhaust to be nice and cool when you're working on it. You don't want to work on it after you've just been driving it, and then it'll be extremely hot. Next, we're going to grab some silicone spray or some WD-40, and we're going to follow our pipe down, and at every hanger we're going to spray it really good. Now our next two hangers are going to be right behind our muffler. Again, we're just going to spray those down really well. And then we're going to have one more hanger right at the end of the tailpipe, right by the end of our leaf spring. Okay guys, now that we have everything sprayed down, there's a couple ways to remove our exhaust. One, we can either cut after our muffler using a hacksaw or a sawzall and take it off in two pieces, or we can just remove our clamp right behind our catalytic converter and take it all off as one piece. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to use a 12mm socket. And since we sprayed this down with penetrating oil, it should be nice and loose for us. Now at the top there's going to be a little clip that's holding it in place, and you just kind of have to wiggle it out of there. You might have to get a screwdriver or something to pry it out. So now we're just going to go along our pipe, and we're going to use a pry bar to pull our hangers out of our isolators. And you can do it either way. You can pull the isolator off from the frame, or you can pull it off of the pipe. It just depends on whichever way it wants to come off easier. But we are going to reuse these isolators, so just be careful, you don't want to destroy them. So I went ahead and sprayed our isolator again with some lubricant, and now it's starting to come off. Now we're going to move past our muffler to our next two hangers and isolators. And again, same thing, we're just going to pull those off, whichever way is easiest. Alright, now we're back at the very rear of our tailpipe, and this is where our last hanger is going to be. And again, we'll just use our pry bar, pry that off. Now when we're doing this all as one piece, you want to make sure that you have another person on the other side to help you, because once you get this off, it's all going to be loose. Now what we're going to do is me and a friend are going to pull the exhaust back, get it over the crossbar, and then we're going to push it back forward. And then go out the front. Next, we're going to take our inlet pipe, and on the side that's going to connect to our catalytic converter, we're going to put our factory ball clamp, and then we're going to match that up to our catalytic converter. At the same time, we're also going to install our hanger into our factory isolator. Just like that. And then we're going to tighten down our bolt just enough to hold it in place, but not completely tight, because we still need to have a little bit of room for adjustment. Again, we're going to use our 12mm. Now next on our inlet pipe, depending on your cab size and your bed size, you might have to install an extension pipe. Now if you have the crew cab with the 6.5-foot bed, you will need this pipe. You would use a 3-inch clamp, and then the pipe would fit over the inlet, and then you would tighten it down there. But if you have any other bed or cab size, we're not going to use this. We're just going to put our muffler directly onto our inlet pipe. So since we have the 6.5-foot double cab, we're going to just install our 3-inch clamp, and then our muffler is going to go directly onto our inlet. And we're going to slide the clamp over the muffler, and then we're going to use a jack to hold the muffler into place. So now we're just going to tighten down our clamp. We're not going to tighten it all the way down. We just want to snug it up, and that's just going to keep it from moving too much on us as we put the rest of our pipes on. That's going to be a 15mm socket. So now we've taken 2 of our 2.5-inch clamps, and we've put those over our outlets, both the left and the right, on our muffler. And we're going to install our passenger side tailpipe. That's going to be the one with the extreme bend in it, and it's also going to have 2 hangers welded on. That's going to go in our passenger side outlet. Push it in as far as we can go. You also want to put it into our rubber isolator on the front. We also want to put it in our factory isolator in the back. So now we're at the back of our passenger side pipe. And again, we're just going to push that onto our hanger. And we're going to leave it right there for right now. Now we can install our driver's side tailpipe, and that's going to go on our driver's side outlet. Slide it in as far as it'll go, and then we're also going to lift it up and put it into our factory isolator. Just like that. Next, we need to install our provided hanger on our driver's side. So what we're going to do is we're going to look on the outside of our frame towards the end of the leaf spring, and you're going to see an oblong hole. If you go to the inside of the frame, there's actually going to be an opening. So what we're going to do is use our provided bolt and washer, and then our hanger, and then one of our backing plates, and we're going to put it through that oblong hole in our frame. And then on the inside, we're going to use another frame bracket. We're going to put that over our bolt with another washer, then a lock washer, and our nut. And then we're going to tighten this down. And then we can tighten it down with a 9/16 wrench and socket. Next, we're going to take our driver's side rear tailpipe piece. It's also going to have a welded hanger on it. we're going to put that into our new isolator that we just mounted. Slide it in as much as you can. It's going to be kind of tight, so just do your best. You might want to spray it down with some silicone to wiggle it in there. But once you kind of get that in, we're going to pull down on our other piece of pipe and then push it back up and let them slide into place. Just like that. Now from here, you can either have a side exit pipe, which is going to be a small U-shaped pipe, or you're going to have a rear exit pipe, which looks kind of like an S. So depending on which exit you want is going to be the pipe that you put on next, and you're going to do that on both sides. So for our truck, we're going to go with the side exit. So what we're going to do is stick a 2.5-inch clamp onto the end of our side exit, and I'm going to shove that into place. And I'm going to do that on both sides. And now we can take our polished tip, slide it over our exit pipe. We're going to do that on both sides, and then we can go ahead and align all of our pipes the way that we want them, and then we'll tighten everything down. Now we're all the way back at the front at our inlet pipe, and the first thing we're going to tighten down is our ball clamp, and that's going to be our 12 millimeter. Next, we're going to align our muffler, make sure it is parallel with the ground, and then we're going to tighten down our 3-inch clamp with a 15 millimeter. Next, we're going to tighten down our two 2.5-inch outlet clamps. Again, that's going to be a 15 millimeter. Now I can tighten down my driver's side rear tailpipe piece. Again, that's going to be a 15 millimeter. Now, as you're tightening this one down, you want to make sure that you have enough clearance between your pipe and your spare tire and your pipe and your shock. If you don't, you might have to reposition this before you tighten it down. Now we can tighten down our exit pipe. Again, that's going to be a 15 millimeter. You want to make sure as you're tightening this down that it does not move. You might have to have somebody hold the other side of the exit pipe just to hold it in place. Now we're going to use a 3/8 socket to tighten down our polished tip. Now with that tight, we can repeat the tightening of our polished tip and our side exit on the passenger side. Your kit's going to also come with 6 retaining clips for your hangers. We're just going to put one on each of our hangers for our new exhaust, and you just want to push them on with your fingers. Now you're going to want to wear some thick gloves for this because they will cut you up. You just kind of want to push them on, get them started, and then once you get them started, you can use a pry tool to kind of push them all the way back. And what this is going to do is it's going to keep your exhaust from sliding like this inside your hanger. So once we get it all the way on, we should be able to work it all the way to the back of our hanger. And that's going to keep everything in place. We want to do that on all of our hangers. Alright guys, that completes the installation. Now just make sure every now and then you go underneath and recheck your clamps to make sure they're still tight. If you have any questions, give us a call or visit us online.